everybody, and welcome to the Mega Gamecast, episode number 11. I'm your host, Ryan Shepard, and with me I have Drew LaPointe.
Yo.
And Cy Cuddy.
How's it going, everyone?
Not too bad. So we got an interesting episode coming up. We're going to talk about VR in this first segment because it's a hot topic, and we want to get it out of the way.
Yep.
Indeed.
We haven't really weighed in detail on it yet, so we're going to let you know what we think about that. Our second segment is going to be another character matchup. This is going to be Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto 5 and Voss Montenegro from Far Cry 3. That should be a good competition there.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
the battle of the psychos.
That would be a battle to the death, that's for sure.
Yeah, literally. Yep.
And the final segment is going to be some listener messages, some questions. We got some questions, and we're going to answer them on the air. So look forward to that.
Something new.
Let's just jump right into the first topic. Virtual reality.
Oh, shoot.
Whoa.
We are VR.
So there's been a couple of VR experiences out there. You can start with Google Cardboard, which is basically I think it's like $35. They send you a piece of cardboard that you put your cell phone into, and you wear it on your head. I've never experienced it myself, but
Sounds funny.
interesting. Sounds kind of interesting. That's definitely your low
Low end.
model. The next step up would be the Gear VR by Samsung. I think that's like $100.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar situation, except it's a better headset. And I think it only works with certain smartphones. Again, I haven't tried that one either. But if you're looking for a bit of a VR experience and you're on a budget, that would be where you want to go.
But it doesn't sound like you're going to get much of an experience.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be cool to check out. That's kind of like that. A little bit too expensive. Maybe Google Cardboard should be the one you go with. And then the next one that we know of anyway is Oculus Rift, which just announced that it's going to be $600.
Woo!
They started taking pre-orders first week of the year. They've already sold out at least the first batch. I think they had another batch of pre-orders go up since then. But that's going to officially ship, I believe, in March sometime. So that's not too far away.
So VR is right upon us.
Yep, VR has arrived.
It is
well,
indeed.
I guess it hasn't arrived proper. Once this one ships, this will probably be the first official real VR, if you want to, virtual reality. I'm trademarking
Virtual
that.
reality.
Virtual real reality.
It's real. It's real.
So yeah, I mean, then we have the PlayStation VR coming out.
In around E3 time,
Yeah, sometime
I believe.
around. It's probably going to be around June. They haven't given a specific date yet, but probably around then. And then somewhere in there, either after or before, we're going to have the HTC Vive, which is running Steam VR. Valve's like, I think it's like, I don't know if they're charging for it or if it's just like a universal VR system that's supposed to be able to, you could program just for it, but it's supposed to be able to play games that maybe have been programmed for Oculus too, so maybe it's a little bit more open.
That's what I'm gonna say. Like you got the Oculus, so how's that really gonna fit in? You know?
Yeah, well, I think from what I understand, that one may be over $1,000. From what I understand, that one, in terms of what they're providing when you buy it, and maybe cost of like the actual equipment of the headset, maybe the most expensive.
Yep.
They have this whole room experience where they have these lighthouses that you need to set up in your room, and they track like, I guess exactly where your movement is and everything like that. So from what I understand, that one's probably going to come with a lot of extra stuff that you need in order to experience it. Which kind of brings me to the first topic, which is who has the room for this kind of stuff?
That is true.
All of these demos that I've seen, people in the industry getting shown all of these, Oculus, PlayStation, and the Vive, they've all been in these huge rooms.
Yeah,
like,
with a whole bunch of space.
Yeah, most of these games require you to stand up, move around. It's kind of like a lot like the Wii Remote with the Wii U, with the Wii rather. You need room in order to play Wii bowling. You can't just...
Right.
Well, I mean, with Wii Sports, people ended up figuring out that all you really have to do is just flick
Yeah,
it.
you just got to flick the
But
wrist.
like when they first got it, it's like, oh, I gotta actually do
I
the whole
have
motion.
to do this whole motion.
Yeah.
But then you got like pro Wii bowling players out there like,
Yeah,
check
just-
this out. And they knocking, getting perfect scores and shit.
But you would think that VR, you would actually have to, use your whole body.
Yeah.
And it'll definitely be good for all those out of shape Americans.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Did you see that huge like frame they built? Like it's this big brown thing that you stand in and you run. It looks like half a hamster ball that they cut in
God.
half, and you
Oh,
stand in
Jesus.
it and you run in it.
No,
in it.
you're kidding.
No, it's
Well,
real.
I was gonna. Yeah, because if you have a game where you're actually required to like run away or run,
Yeah.
if you want to simulate that, you can't really be running in your living room.
No.
So I mean,
Well, yeah, it's like the Oculus Rift actually comes with an Xbox One controller, so they're actually giving you a traditional controller in order to move around the environment. So like the Oculus Rift has a motion sensor for your head, so you'll turn and your head will in the game will turn in tandem with where you turn it in reality, but you'll be walking around
with the controller.
Yeah, and pressing buttons and stuff on the controller.
That's probably the easiest way to go, I would imagine.
Yeah, but it's also less immersive.
Yeah.
So
well, supposedly Sony's going to be putting out those PlayStation Move sticks to use. So,
yeah, they're
Yeah.
all right. At least
well,
I imagine they just have like a big warehouse full of leftover PlayStation
you would
Move
think,
sticks.
yeah. I don't think those thing ever went over too
No,
well.
I don't
so.
think anybody wants some wands with pink balls on the top of them.
Oh, jeez.
Unless,
the PlayStation dildos.
yeah.
Ah. All right. So here's my question, guys. Who here wants to buy a VR the day it comes out? Or when do you or if you can't or don't, when do you think it'll be feasible to buy like say the Oculus or the PSVR?
I wouldn't pick one up until version 2. Me personally.
Okay.
Unless one of these comes out and there's like some sort of
Yeah, because there's
blow
gonna
my
be,
mind experience or something like that.
there's going to be those day one buyers all over the world. And luckily these days we have the internet, so we can see what the reception is and like how it's actually working.
Yeah, and and on YouTube I've actually witnessed a few of these VR games, which doesn't. I mean, again, granted, it doesn't give me the full experience of putting that visor.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Looking like Geordi from Star Trek, except a bigger version over my damn head. But
yeah, who knows? Maybe version 10 will just be a little visor in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know for sure until we have it. We're actually in it.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
I mean, and we're all going to PAX. So I mean,
maybe we'll actually be able to check one out there. And
I'm really hoping so, because what I saw on YouTube, some of the games they have out, some of them look pretty impressive. But again, I always wonder whether or not I'm going to get motion sickness or whether it's going to affect me some way worse than playing video games already has.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah, that's another thing too. If you're susceptible to motion sickness, you've got a pretty big chance that you're gonna be sick with VR too, because it's just the way that everything moves inside the goggles. It simulates it can simulate that feeling of like being on a roller coaster. Or if you're like riding in a car and you get sick if you read, sometimes I get sick when I read in a car.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Well, because you're moving.
Do that.
Yeah, and the same thing with like seasickness or something like that.
Yep, that was my friend's bachelor party. I did not take the Dramamine before going on the boat. That was my downfall.
You're gonna have to pregame with VR next time, Si.
Oof.
Yes, I apologize for traumatizing you and making you ride the Superman back in high school.
No, I actually had a blast on that.
Yeah, but you've never gone back on one, right?
No, I have. I've actually gone back a few times.
You've gone back on a big as roller coaster as that?
Was it as big as? Well, at the time, that was the biggest roller coaster in the world, and I have not.
I don't know if it was the biggest in the world, but
well, it had that first drop was, I think, the biggest.
Yeah, it was
free
one of them.
fall drop.
But
So I don't think I've ever been on a roller coaster as big as the Superman. It's now called the Bizarro, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've been on one as high as since then, because I haven't visited one as high. But I've been on a few other roller coasters. I still am not a huge fan of them, but I will go on them.
But then, but still, like I don't see VR being that intense. I don't know.
No, this is actually a concern.
No, I understand it's a concern. No, because some people really are very sensitive to motion sickness and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I'm worried about myself.
Yeah, you guys seem more
because I have been seasick before, and I do get a little ill reading while in a car sometimes, and not all the time, but it
I
has
do.
happened.
I cannot read in a car at all.
Yeah.
So
sounds like me and Cy may be in need of a barf bucket when we go to PAX.
Oh no! I'm just taking the Dramamine before I head out.
All right, I'll have to take one too. Yeah, so there's that concern, but that's going to be a personal basis, whether or not
that's
you
a personal
feel bad
thing. Yeah.
wearing one of these things. The other thing, and we've touched on it a little bit, is
Yeah,
what
but
are we actually
to be
going to be
honest,
able
Ryan,
to play on these things?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be honest, Ryan, actually, just to go back on the seasickness part, once you take if you do get sick and you just take the thing off, you usually get better pretty instantly.
Now, has an actual video game ever made you guys physically ill?
No,
because I've heard about this doing that to people too.
Well, that's like, remember that incident in Japan where they played that episode of Pokemon and kids went into seizures because of how big the TV, mostly because of how the TV screens were and what kind of graphics they were showing.
I never heard of
It's
that.
similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Well, it happened when we were about
you
15, almost 20 years ago.
Probably feel that if you like, well, it's like a roller coaster. Really,
Yeah.
when the whole world is just all of a sudden lifting around you, and it's unnatural to your body and mind, then that's where you get that sensation of,
oh man,
holy shit, something's going on.
The only time I felt something like a slight thing of vertigo is when I first played Assassin's Creed and they did the leap of faith. Oh man, could you imagine if we had the Assassin's Creed VR version and we actually did that?
They have.
I could not do that. I would probably just take the damn thing off.
No way, that'd be fun.
Ubisoft, I believe, has an Eagle.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm getting
an Eagle
freaked out
VR
just thinking
experience
about it.
where you're actually flying around as an eagle.
Dude, that's been the bum of a lot of jokes too. But like, if it actually feels like you're flying, then hey. But I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, so there's that. But let's talk about games.
All right, we'll talk about games.
This is the big thing because VR isn't. So there's going to be a lot of uses for VR.
Yes.
Well, I think the two biggest things are, like you said, the games and the price point.
Yeah.
But we'll start with the games.
So Oculus Rift doesn't have a whole lot on the table here. When you pre-order Oculus Rift, you get a copy of Lucky's Tale, which is not too substantial of a game. It looks kind of cool, but not too substantial. And then you also get Eve Valkyrie, which is probably the most real game.
That's the one that looks, to me, it looks pretty impressive from what I saw.
And it fits with the VR experience. It's like, dogfighting in space. Yeah. So, you look around your cockpit and everything like that. Makes sense. There's a lot of other things that have mentioned VR, like, say, like Alien Isolation, I know, added a VR mode in it, and it exploded. I don't know if they actually released that to the public or not, but there's a lot of other games that have kind of like, hey, here's a normal game, but you can also play it in VR.
Yeah.
So
kind of like the whole, here's a normal game, but play it in motion controls.
Yeah, kind of like that. So there isn't a whole lot on the table, at least announced anyway, that are exclusive VR experiences.
Well, apparently, Sony's putting out some kind of Until Dawn game. Yeah,
that's like an on rails game.
Until Dawn: Rush of Blood.
Yeah, it's like an on rails. I don't know if it's a shooter, but it's similar to something like that.
It's a first-person shooter, apparently.
Yeah, so it's an on rails shooter. Yeah,
but see, if it actually is scary, and you're in the VR, I could see like a scary horror game working out pretty well. Like that PT.
Oh, yeah.
Like that PT. I don't think either of you guys saw that whole Hideo Kojima PT demo.
What I was just saying with Alien Isolation is similar to that.
Yeah.
But having that alien stalk you in VR would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that'd be scary. Yeah, because that game was pretty freaky on its own. So
I mean, that's the big thing for me anyway. Is that
you got to feel immersed.
There hasn't been anything announced that I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
that's what I need VR for that. The only thing that The only thing, in my opinion, that could really do it for me is No Man's Sky, which I've mentioned before.
Yep.
In relation to VR, and it seems like Sony is positioning that. Hasn't been announced yet, but I'm saying it again.
Yeah. Hopefully if we say it enough, it'll actually be true.
Happen.
Yeah.
They're positioning to release around the same time as PlayStation VR, and that game it has enough momentum behind it, like enough people know about it.
Oh yeah.
To say like, oh yeah, I know that game, and I'll play it. And it's a first-person game.
Yeah.
With similar style as like any other first-person game. There's some shooting and there's even flying.
Yeah, a lot of flying apparently. Yeah.
So that's something we're all used to already. So just putting that into a VR experience kind of makes sense.
No, it does, definitely.
Going to all these planets and everything and seeing them as realistic as possible. But, this game will also be available
regularly.
Not in VR. So it's not going to be a tailored experience for VR. There's going to be a component to it that may justify virtual reality, but it's not going to be the only way that you can play it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's even though that'll probably, if they do what we're hoping they do, that'll turn out pretty good. But
yeah,
it's going to be those tailor-made VR experiences that really make or break these things.
Yeah, because that's especially for this price.
Yeah.
$600 for something that you could play in VR, but you could also play by itself. There has to be something that...
Wait, are you saying that the Oculus Rift games, you can play them all regularly too?
No, well, that Lucky's Tale is just VR, I believe. But
E-Valkyrie
is its own... You don't have to play that in VR. And, there's been other games like Star Citizen that said it's going to support VR.
Yep.
And there's another game that is similar to that. Oh, Elite Dangerous is another one of those flight space sim games that are...
So it seems like we get a lot of space sim kind of games.
Yeah, and when you think about it, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Having that immersive experience inside a cockpit just makes sense. Reliving, we're just off the tail end of Star Wars here. Just imagine being in an X-Wing and seeing all those controls and everything like that. That would be sick.
Yeah, see, I feel like you could do it with space. You could do it with some kind of driving.
Yeah.
Even I could almost see myself getting more into a racing game if it was tailor-made for VR.
Yeah.
Because I normally find racing games boring.
Well, I think Gran Turismo was going to come out as a VR game.
Gran Turismo Sport, that doesn't seem like it's going to be a full-on big game, but we'll see. I don't know. But, so, Oculus is $600, but that obviously is coming with a lot of other stuff. I saw, Ryan, you had mentioned it in last week's newscast.
Yeah, it's coming with an Xbox One controller.
Yep.
A sensor, which I think detects where you are in the room, and a remote, which...
you don't know what...
I believe... I looked into that. I think it's similar to a Wii remote, where it tracks movement, so you move around.
Okay.
From what I understand, I guess the Xbox One controller didn't add too much to the cost of it. They ended up getting those. But I don't know what the other equipment costs. I do know that the screens inside of the Oculus Rift are custom made for the Oculus. And it's basically...
Apparently they're high quality.
Yeah, they're super high resolution, really high refresh rate to 144 hertz or 120 hertz or something like that.
Damn.
Because I'm hearing the PlayStation screen is not that high quality yet.
Yeah. I just heard that I guess the Vive may be higher quality, but you can see the pixels more. I don't know. You're going to have to look up and see the side-by-side comparison because they were just at CES. So there's a couple of people on the internet that have used them both back-to-back and had been able to actually do an analysis side-by-side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do know that the equipment is, custom-made. So that's going to add to the cost of it. And, again, I've said this before, and they were out there saying this, that they're not making any money off of these headsets.
Yeah.
They're selling them at cost, so there's literally no way that could make them cheaper without taking a hit.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, these are definitely, it's expensive technology. Yeah. It's brand new technology.
And they sold out too.
And they sold so if they're already selling out, then obviously people are interested in this.
Yeah.
They're interested in it, but then again, let's think back when the car was first invented. Guys. I mean, when it first came out, it was basically a piece of shit. It was especially compared to today, it was a rundown piece
Well,
of
yeah,
shit.
okay.
But that doesn't, just because it's a rundown piece of shit or the first time around doesn't mean you don't buy a car anymore. It's going to take years for it to be perfected.
And that kind of goes around to justification of these things. It's like when the car came out, it's like, holy shit, this is way better than a car. I mean, way better than a horse.
Even the horses were quicker at that point.
Yeah,
But,
and the cars and the horses didn't break down as much.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But still, it was something running that didn't have a heartbeat. Like that moved you, so it was still
It wasn't an
revolutionary.
animal. Then that's where it comes to like where are the games that make me feel like I see this and I'm like, I need this. Like you look at a car and you're like, of course I need that.
Yeah.
Of course I need a car, but you don't want. But that doesn't mean you need a Ferrari. You just need a car that gets you from point A to point B.
Good point. I see his point there. Yeah.
So then we have the question of whatever the PlayStation VR is going to cost.
That might be the low end car.
Yeah, that could be like the.
Really, I thought it was going to be more expensive than the Oculus.
So Sony's been
they
out
say
there.
so far it's going to be between $400 and $600. Is that correct?
Well,
that was what they
no,
were predicting.
The
No,
Oculus
listen.
is 600.
So
Yes.
Sony has been out there and said that they're trying to price this at the cost of a console. So you have to assume that's going to be
So
somewhere
it's going
in
to
the
be it's going to be like two separate consoles almost, except for the fact that you need the VR head. I mean, the fact is the VR headset is going to be the price of a full-on console.
Well, there's going to be more than just a headset.
Right.
But,
Yeah, well, so they're pricing it at around $400 to $500 is what you can expect that to probably come out as.
Sheesh.
so at that point, it's going to be even more money than a PS4.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's what these consoles. Well, I mean, the Xbox One launched at $500, but the PlayStation 4
It's been
launched
400.
then, it
And then
launched
now
at
it's down to
400,
what,
yeah.
350?
Something
So-
like that. So yeah, I mean, that's probably what you're looking at, and if it's more than that, I don't think it's going to do well.
No, that's the thing. Like
Nope.
honestly, to me, anything more than 400, people are going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Because I think the people who bought the Oculus, they're probably a lot of PC gamers that are used to spending a lot more money.
Yeah.
I'd say normally you buy a console because it's it's price efficient, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's certainly priced lower than what you would buy to
build a
would
rig.
you spend a decent PC. And that's where, a lot of this comes in. When you look at the price, $600, that's the price of a decent graphics card.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, PC guys buy a graphics card probably every year or upgrade every year. So this is like just another one of those for them if they want to pick it up or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you get into the console world, everything's a little bit less expensive.
Yeah.
And you buy it less frequently.
Exactly.
So, PlayStation 4 just came out, 2 years ago?
Yep.
So
Yeah, just about.
now they're going to ask you to buy another console, basically. Essentially.
Yeah, I
And they're-
guess so.
And they're investing a lot of money and resources into this. So no, Sony, even though they're at the top of the console world right now, they're hedging their bets on this thing. You can tell.
Yeah, they are. And of course, you have I don't know if it's going to come with a Move controller or what.
See, that's the
But
thing.
you already have a PlayStation 4
Yeah.
controller if you own a PlayStation 4.
People are guessing that the Sony one or the PSVR might be cheaper because they're not going to have as much in the box as, say, the Oculus.
And then
So, are you going to have to buy parts separately so it still ends up costing you a lot anyway?
Yeah, and then I know we're probably going to find out with this what that dumb light bar on the front of your controller is. And
You think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's motion tracking.
Oh, okay.
And does that mean you're going to have a PlayStation Eye, the camera?
That's a good question. Probably.
Wow.
They're going to have to track motion somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you would have to.
Unless it comes with some sort of sensor in it.
You would think, but
With
then
it.
again, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I just hear, you surf the internet, everyone's saying, yep, once you buy PSVR, you're going to have to buy, 2 move sticks and a camera. So,
Yeah. This
but
is the whole thing. It's like
hearsay, we don't know. We don't know enough yet.
Well, and that's one of the things that's kind of pissing me off about this is that we're so close to all of this stuff and there's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
like the price of the Oculus Rift wasn't announced until like the pre-orders went live.
Yeah.
Like they didn't announce it like a week before or anything like that. It was just like,
Well, it sounds like it didn't have much effect anyway. If
well,
it
no,
was
I guess
sold
it
out.
didn't, but it did have an effect in that there was a lot of uproar around it. You know, people
Yeah.
who were freaked out by the price.
For sure.
You know, they could have, maybe the pre-orders would have sold out even faster if they had announced it like a month before or something like that.
Right.
Or had some sort of indication that it was going to be that expensive, because like the
Right.
previous development kits were like $200 or $300. So
Well-
this is like twice that price.
Well, I just hope it's worth it for those who bought it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
it seems like the people who would have picked that up are either developers or enthusiasts or something like that that know that they're probably not going to get the best one
Yeah.
at the first.
Or they
first
just want to
draw.
see the start of a new revolution or the
Yeah,
dawn
that's
of
what
the
I'm
new
saying,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, they're ready to advance.
And
that's-
see what game they could come out with for that.
Yeah.
But
system.
even when you buy like console on launch day, you're still, I think consumers to an extent, especially people who follow the industry, you're taking a risk to an extent. Like when you buy launch consoles, because
Yeah.
you could end up with broken consoles, and you also know you're spending more money now than you would be probably 6 months down the road.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean, at
the
least
only thing I really
at least with a console, you know you're getting a console.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You don't really know what you're getting here.
here it looks like you're just getting a small TV that goes right up to
Right
your
up to your
eyes.
face. Stand 2 feet away from your TV. Let me know what you
That's
think.
what I always think when I see these VR systems, but it's either that or it's just people who have money to blow, and I wish I had that as well. But
Yeah, I know.
I will say this: once the Oculus comes out, we want to have you, the viewers who actually purchase this system, give us your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
tell
definitely.
us what
do
you
guys
think. Tell us
about
what
VR?
problems you're having. Tell us it's the greatest thing in the world. Whatever. Just we want to hear about it from
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
Oh yeah, we're
listeners.
sure to hear all about it.
We
one
wanted
way or
to
another.
just have this discussion, get our opinions out here, and then as they come out, we'll of course update them. Like especially when PlayStation VR comes out, and then when the Vive and
Sure.
everything like that. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of wrap it up, it sounds like we're kind of all questioning the price tag. Like
We're
we wish it
questioning
was a
the
little
price
bit
tag,
lower.
and I think we're questioning
Well,
the
I'm
product.
not necessarily. When it gets explained to me, I understand why the price is what it is, but at this, like I was telling to you privately, Ryan, it's, I think you still need software to sell this hardware. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to show me some cutting edge, awesome game to really sell me personally on
Yeah.
this.
Right. Well, I think all three of us agree with that. You need to have a standout game to go with these consoles.
And
with
I
these
understand that
systems.
even launch titles for consoles, those aren't always. That's not going to show off the potential of the console. It's just going to give you like a preview.
Right.
I get that, but at the same time, VR it's a whole new step, and
Yeah.
they want people to buy these like right when they come out. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more worried about what Sony ends up doing with it because we haven't really heard much of anything except for Robot Golf and.
Yeah. 100
Actually, there is one game, Robinson: The Journey, where
Yeah.
it's that game where you get to see dinosaurs.
Yeah, that
game
looked
has some
okay.
good. That game
Well,
has some good graphics.
that
I'm
looks
actually
like
looking at it right
that looks
now.
like another on rails shooter, or on rails game. It's
It could
based
be.
based on the
Or you
based
get
on
to
the
go
demo
up-
they showed
or
at
you
the
get to go
PlayStation
up,
Experiences.
walk around, and actually pet some dinosaurs.
Anyone who's sick of open worlds, maybe go to VR because you'll find the opposite
Yeah.
by the looks of things.
Yeah, you'll be walking around in your room.
Yeah. All right. Well,
You're the man, Si.
we'll definitely keep an eye on VR because it's your VR.
Yeah. Either way, I'm excited for VR. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
One way or another. I'm not against it yet.
Yeah.
The key word being yet.
Yeah.
we'll-
Like,
we'll
if it comes out and if it's a complete flop, then obviously the industry is not ready to move forward yet. But
If it comes out and it's a flop, I say we all collectively buy one once the price is slashed, and then we get to
Yeah.
comment how much of a piece of crap it really is.
and also, like I think I've said before, these headsets they've got to be comfortable comfortable
Yeah.
enough for us to want to
Oh yeah.
put them on
hold
for
on for
an hour
hours.
or more.
Yeah,
you know?
because I mean that's
Do you
how
even,
people
guys, do
play
you even-
games.
Something we didn't talk about. Do you even want that? Do you know what kind of effect that could have on your vision if you wear that thing for
Well,
too
yeah,
long?
I mean, that's the whole
I mean,
thing.
could you imagine what other health problems you could run into?
Yeah, I mean
I'm just saying.
that could be a 5-year thing where people start saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting eye cancer because of this Oculus Rift that's on my head."
Yeah,
all this time.
I guess these companies haven't really given us much assurance about that, have they?
Well, I
About-
mean, you don't know. There's no way to test
There's
for
no
that.
way to tell.
yeah, but what? Testing on themselves though, maybe they
Yeah,
would
but
know.
this is like I'm saying, this is
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
a 5-year thing, so
Yeah.
you won't know until somebody uses it for years and years
True.
before
Right.
some of these things
I
start
mean, let's
to
take
develop.
a look at cigarettes. They've been around for hundreds of
Yeah.
years, and then of course people found out they were bad for them, and yet they still smoke.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just like I said, cigarettes took forever to figure out that
Yeah.
oh, this is terrible for you.
Well, yeah, because they used to be completely. No
yeah,
one.
everyone was
yeah.
like, "Hey, this
Yeah.
is like."
Or to a lesser extent, no, I'm not even going to get into it. Let's just move forward.
Yeah, don't even bring other drugs into it.
Oh,
so.
by the way, the first VR headset I'm picking up is the one sponsored by Pornhub.
Yeah, boy.
Nice. Oh, dude, we forgot to add that into the newscast. God damn it. But
All
yeah,
right.
everyone, PlayStation has taken over Xbox as the #1 Pornhub console.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so that's
over
why you should
3
get your
million
PlayStation VR.
videos on Pornhub right now.
Yeah, maybe that might be what ends up selling the PSVR. Be
Yeah.
like, dude, you can watch your Pornhub on there.
So Sony's up there like check out all these awesome VR experiences and porn,
Ooh.
right?
Guys, this makes me think of a great idea. The next VR game has to be a porn simulated game.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how much you could sell based upon
That'd
that?
be
All,
that'd
all
be
those
the
happy
porn
biggest
virgins.
video
selling
game.
game ever.
You guys get points for every orgasm you give and receive.
All right.
All
We
right.
might have to
well,
cut to part 2 soon.
that's gonna wrap it up for
Oh, sorry, people.
Always
This
happy
is-
to have side
Part
back.
one
Keep
of-
in mind. This is a
Not
free
safe for
flowing
work.
conversation that touches on mature subject
not
matter.
safe for work. So that's gonna wrap up the first segment of this podcast.
Make sure to wrap it up. So.
Yeah.
Oh, double wrap.
When we come back, we're going to talk about Trevor Phillips and Vas Montenegro and how they enjoy their porn